Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all here in this session at TNV Academy. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our eminent speaker, Mr. Srinivasan Sitaraman today, who is going to talk to us about incident investigation process. In this webinar today, Mr. Sitaraman will discuss this topic in detail along with some real life examples he has experienced in the industry. Our distinguished speaker, Mr. Sitaraman, has done his post-graduation in chemistry from Annamalai University, India. He is also a lead auditor in ISO 9001, 14001, and 45001 standards. He has an industrial experience of around 30 plus years in field of manufacturing of non-ferrous alloys, lamp components, primary and secondary batteries, and he has worked in countries such as India, South Africa, and Oman. He has been imparting training to a number of organizations, entrepreneurs, and executives on various topics related to ISO standards, their certification, and implementation. It was just a brief introduction of our guest speaker today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Srinivasan Sitaraman. I may request Mr. Sitaraman now to please start the session on incident investigation.
Very good evening to all of you present in this webinar, and thank you to TNV Academy for giving me another opportunity to present this webinar to all of you. Okay, so it's an interesting topic today which we are going to discuss. That's about how to conduct incident investigation. So organizations who have implemented ISO 45001, they will know it very much, and also any organization, even if they are not implementing 45001, they need to conduct incident investigation so that they can fix up responsibilities and take a proper corrective action, so those kind of things do not repeat. So that is why we are going to discuss this about that. Okay, so any questions you may have during this presentation, you can put it in the chat box at the end of this webinar. Maybe it will take around 30 40 minutes. After that, we will take these questions. So before going into the incident investigation, we all need to understand the terms and definitions used in the ISO 45001 standard, so that you will be able to understand and appreciate the whole process better. So first and foremost, we need to know what is safety. Because we are talking about safety improvement, safety performance improvement, we need to know what is safety. There is nothing like 100% safe anywhere. Because kal kisne dekha hai, they used to say, nobody can predict what is going to happen tomorrow. So that's uncertainty is always associated with the safety. So what we can do is, by taking the precautionary measures, taking the checks and balances, we can only eliminate or reduce the risk to an acceptable level. We cannot say zero risk anywhere. So there will be like, person walking on the road, he can be hit by a scooter. So you are better off going in a scooter than walking on the road. But still, scooter is not 100% safe. You have a helmet, you wear it, and then you follow the traffic rules, you'll be protected. But still, some other vehicle, if they have a wrong driving practice, they may come and hit you, so you may get injured. So again, car may be a better option because you got crumb zones, you got these airbags, and braking systems are very good. So you can be better off in a car compared to scooter. But you can't afford a car because of your economical conditions, so you're settled with a scooter. But you take the necessary precaution like driving license and going on the left side of the road and following the traffic rules. You take a kind of thing, but still we know there are a lot of accidents happening on the road. So we take a kind of tolerable risk. I cannot go for a car, but I can manage to go in a scooter with acceptable risk. So same way, car also, there are a lot of accidents happening. Whole car is written off, so there is nothing guaranteed. So like that, it is relative. Everywhere you see, there is element of risk associated. 100% nobody can say this is a perfectly safe alternative. So that's why it's a process of eliminating or reducing risk to acceptable level. Suppose you have got a car, you need to wear a seat belt, so you're reducing the risk of head injuries, and then you've got braking systems which are very good, and you've got airbags which are also going to protect you. So these are all going to reduce the risk completely. It's not eliminating, but reducing the risk to acceptable level, so that we take the decision to travel in that particular vehicle, considering that these safety precautions are available. So that is why it is a tolerable risk which we can carry on with our daily lives. Okay. So now coming to hazard, this is also used in the standard. So we need to understand what is hazard. Hazard is anything which has got a potential to cause harm. A simple example would be a banana peel. Somebody has eaten a banana and thrown the skin on the road. So that is a slippery hazard. Anybody steps on it, he is going to slip and fall. So that is a potential. Right now, simply as a peel, it cannot create a slip and fall injury. Somebody has to come in contact with it, unknowingly step on it, then only it will happen. So that's why it has got a potential. It has not had any hazard, but it's got a potential to cause harm. So that is called hazard. Same way, there are various types of hazard. You need to know electrical hazard, physical hazards, ergonomical hazard. Sitting for 8 hours, you may get a back pain or spondylitis and things like that. These are all various types of hazards we cross in our day-to-day lives. Then comes the risk. What is the likelihood of that hazard causing harm? So that is what we are going to assess. When we do risk assessment, we look at, suppose the banana peel is lying on the middle of the road, where basically only vehicles will be going, nobody will be walking on the road. So that's not a problem. Whereas the same peel lying in the pedestrian side is definitely going to have a more likelihood of somebody falling down, because more people are walking on the pedestrian pathway than on the middle of the road. So the same thing, hazard is same in both the cases, slip and fall hazard. But the probability of somebody getting that injury is very high on the pedestrian side, not on the middle of the road. So that is what the risk is, the likelihood, the probability that a hazard can cause a harm. So that is what is called risk. Now coming to incident. Always we confuse between incident and accident. So we need to be very careful with that. Incident is an event that does not result in injury or ill health, but may result in a property damage. Suppose, some simply, example, you are say in a room, a fan is running, suddenly there is a wrong sound and the fan comes off from the hook and then it falls on the floor. Luckily, you are sitting in a corner and with your laptop, nothing happened to you, but it fell off and then that whole fan is got damaged. So what is this? It's an incident. But suppose you are walking in the room, suddenly it falls off, it comes on your head, then it becomes an accident. So the moment a person is involved, a small first aid or a small drop of blood or a backache, anything comes out of it, then it becomes an accident. Remember, accident need not result in always fatality. Accident can be even a first aid case also is accident. Also, if a backache or sprain, anything on a muscle spasm, any discomfort, injury or ill health is called accident. Till that time, it is only incident. So here an event that does not result in personal injury but may result in property damage. May. Suppose the fan falls and nothing happened, but still it can be considered as incident because it could have been damaged. Somebody would have been under it and his head would have been on the block. So this incident has to be treated so that we avoid accidents. Okay, so that is why we need to understand incident, and we do incident investigation and not accident investigation. Accident is an event that results in injury or ill health. Right from first aid case to fatality, all are called accidents. We can call it minor accident, major accident, but you can never call it, this is not accident, this is a first aid case. First aid case also is accident. Very important to remember that. Because today you may lose a small cut you may have, but tomorrow you may lose a finger. So day after tomorrow it may be fatality for someone. Because if you do not focus on that incident, it is going to be a fatal accident one day. So that's why incident investigation is very important, and that's where we are talking about today. Okay, so now injuries, a matter of probabilities. Like, for example, what they have done, a kind of pyramid where they say the base is made up of unsafe acts, 3,000 unsafe acts, behaviors and conditions. That means somebody somewhere is doing something wrong. The simple example is after eating the banana, throwing the bin on the skin on the road. So that is an unsafe act. You could have put it in the bin so that you can avoid somebody going to fall on that. So it's an unsafe act. It's a behavior. Regularly you have been doing like this, so it become like a habit for you. Suppose you are educated to do it a proper way, you may not do it. So that's why unsafe act, behaviors and conditions, these are all created by human beings by their own habitual actions. So this can 3,000 things, if they are not corrected, it can result in 300 near misses. Near misses means just nothing happened, but it could have been a major injury. So that is very, living on the edge. We do not have a situation like that. That's why 300 near misses are happening, because 3,000 unsafe acts have not been addressed. So these 300 near misses also, if they are not addressed, then it is going to result in 30 accidents. In that, 29 minor injury and 1 fatality. Suppose there are a lot of statistics we read on the paper, but if someone near and dear one is passed away, we feel the pinch of it. So this fatality is only a statistics for us. But if it is a close family member, then it will be a lot of emotions associated with that. That's why we should not think that it's only one fatality for 3,000. It's okay. It's not like that. For every 3,000, there is 30 accidents happening, and those things can be avoided. These minor injuries can also result in major injury if they are not treated properly. So that's why we should not ignore any unsafe conditions. That's the starting point. If we address the base, the top will not be happening. So this is a probability how we can improve the situation, that fatality can be avoided. So another survey conducted in the industry said why accidents are occurring. So they found after all the investigation and everything, the root cause analysis, finally they zero in on the majority of the cases. It is happening because of unsafe actions. Unsafe actions not by any machine or something, by human beings. Somewhere somebody is doing something wrong, because of which these accidents are happening. Human error is ultimately the root cause. If you go on analyzing, human error will be the root cause. Even unsafe conditions, you may say that this machine is designed like this, we can't help, but the machine was not designed by God, it was designed by human being. So even unsafe conditions also to certain extent is because of human beings unsafe act only. Okay, so 88 to 98% is basically human beings. We are creating things, so we people who are going to solve it. So that's why we need to understand how to do the instant investigation, so that we are not going to repeat those mistakes again and again. Natural calamities only 2%, but again I would extrapolate it to human interference only, because all these natural calamities, the floods, unseasonal rains, global warming, the ice peaks are melting, and the ocean levels are rising. This all because of human what do you call unregulated industrial explosion happening everywhere, because of which we are resulting in this kind of situation. So our carbon footprint is really so high that all this global warming is causing these problems. So that 2% also is indirectly related to our own actions, which we need to be responsible for. Okay, so this is just a statistics. We need to understand, if we avoid these unsafe actions, we can definitely prevent incidents and accidents. Okay, now coming to incident investigation, straight away I'm coming to ISO 45001 requirements. I'm not discussing the whole standard today, only the incident investigation under 10.2 of the clause 10.2. It says the organization shall means it's a must as per ISO requirements. They must establish, implement and maintain a process or processes, including reporting, investigation and taking action to determine and manage incidents and non-conformities. You see, never in the standard, nowhere the word accident is mentioned, because they don't want to focus on accident. It is too reactive approach. They are focusing on incidents so they can avoid accidents. This 45,000 standard is for occupational health and safety. This standard is for the employees, by the employees and of the employees. That's why the management has to focus on the incidents, and non-conformities means unsafe condition or a process not operating as per procedure. This can be a non-conformity. But incident is something which has happened. Luckily, nobody is injured. Maybe some property damage was there, or even that was not there. So we need to understand that. Okay. When an incident or non-conformity occurs, the organization shall, what they will do, they must do this, react in a timely manner to the incident or non-conformity as applicable. Okay, timely manner is very important, because if somebody is injured, they have to be taken in a, they say first aid has to be given within the first 180 seconds. That's called golden hour. So like that, the reaction in a timely manner is going to save a lot of lives, or even betterment to the injured person. So that is why react in a timely manner to the incident or non-conformity or a unsafe condition as applicable. Okay, then take actions to control or correct it. Immediate action would be to give first aid and then arrest that problem from affecting many people. So that is the immediate action you should do. Contain and control and correct it. Deal with the consequences. When means whatever is the consequence coming out of it. It may be, unfortunate, somebody is dead. We need to inform the family members and look at the insurance claims and all those consequences, reporting this matter to the labor department, factory inspectorate, all those things have to be taken. That's all in one word. They say deal with the consequences. So it involves everything. If it is a reportable last time injury, we have to inform the relevant authorities. so that all records have to be maintained properly. Okay, then evaluate with the participation of workers. It's again very important. I have put the class number also as reference, class 5.4. That means ISO 45001 standard is for the employees and by the employees. So their participation is very important to see the effectiveness implementation of the standard, and the involvement of other related interested parties, not only the workers who are involved, other supervisors or any other person like an expert, safety expert, or safety department personnel, other management personnel, everybody has to be involved in that. The need for corrective action to eliminate the root cause. When I say corrective action, it is going towards eliminating the root cause of the problem and not any surface cause of the incident or non-conformity, in order that it does not recur or occur somewhere else. It does not recur means you should not repeat. Occur somewhere else means similar situations. Suppose if there is a equipment, there is a damage happened, there is incident, we should look at similar equipments in the entire organization and alert all the people so that this does not occur anywhere else also. The same machine, it should not occur, that is recur, otherwise occurring anywhere else in the organization. So we have to take the actions which are corrective actions and effectively implemented. How do we do that? Investigate the incident. That's what we are going to see today. What are all the steps to investigating an incident or reviewing the non-conformity? That is like a condition. It is also can be reviewed because it can result in an incident. So we have to look at that also. Then determining the causes. There may be various causes. You may get a lot of causes which will be easily come to our understanding, but we should not stop at that. We should go to the root cause. That is why determining the causes, including the root cause of the incident or non-conformity, and determining similar incidents have occurred if non-conformities exist or if they could potentially occur. This potentially occur means nothing has happened, but it can happen in some other department. They have the same equipment. We need to determine that similar incidents possibility also. And then review the existing assessments of OHS risk and other risk as appropriate. Again, I have given a clause reference here, clause 6.1. It talks about planning to address risk and opportunities. Here we are talking about hazards identification and risk assessment. So it is as per the occupational health and safety, any risk other than the management risk, other equipment risk, activity risk, all that have to be reviewed. Already you may have something in place, but we need, because some incident has happened now. So we need to review the whole risk assessment. Okay. Then comes determine and implement any action needed, including corrective action. Other actions like correction, containment is all okay, immediately done. But corrective action is done only after identifying the root cause. So including corrective action in order with the hierarchy of controls. When I implement corrective action, there is a hierarchy of control. Which one I should be thinking first? Which one I should be thinking last? That is what is called hierarchy. Hierarchy of control is also as per clause 8.1.2 of ISO 45001. And then management of change. If you change something, some process to improve the safety, then the whole change has to be managed. That means communicating the relevant people, training the contractors, informing everybody, put a standard operating procedure, all that is involved in management of change. That's again a clause requirement 8.1.3. Okay. Then assess OHS risk that relate to new or changed hazards prior to taking action. Now again, after implementing, we have to do a risk assessment so that we know that everything is taken care and it is not going to be in a negative way. Okay. Then finally, review the effectiveness. Whatever action we take, we need to understand whether that is going to be improving the safety or going to be detrimental. That's why effectiveness of the corrective action has to be reviewed for quite some time and see that no accident or incident happens. Then we know our corrective action is at the root cause and it is effective, and including corrective action. That's what 10.2 clause is talking about it. So it's all, you see, so many clause requirements are given in this incident investigation. Participation of employees, then looking at the management of change, hierarchy of controls, and then assessment of the occupational health and safety risk, and then effectiveness of the corrective action. All this is involved in this particular clause. Now let us look at the incident investigation. There are two major components that contribute to the cause of incident. This is very important to understand. One is easily identifiable, which is work element. That means, suppose somebody has slipped and fell, we know there is a banana peel lying on the floor. So we know easily the work element is nothing but because of the banana peel, this person has fell and then he is injured. So that is like related to the work. the condition or act that directly caused the incident. The banana peel caused the slip and fall hazard. Same way, here another example, oil on the floor leading to slip and fall injury. There was some oil on the floor, so that is the cause of this injury. That is like a surface cause. Easily anybody can see. But now what we have to question is why there is oil on the floor. That is very important. Then we go on questioning this why, till we go to the root cause and eliminate that problem, so that again that kind of thing doesn't occur. That is called root cause. Here what are we doing? The system failure that allowed the work element to become deficient or to occur. Why this oil spillage happened? We need to investigate that and go to the root cause. Example here is the preventive maintenance cleanup not done well. That means the person thought he has cleaned well, but he has left some oil traces. He has not been trained properly, or he is not knowing the consequences of somebody going to come in contact with that. Like that, we need to know. Same way, banana peel, the person is not cultured or educated to put the bin, the banana peel in the bin, or there was no bin available in the area. That's why he left it on the floor. So like that, you can go on questioning the why. Finally, you will come to a conclusion that if we address this problem will not occur. So that is why the root cause is also important. The surface cause, which is the work related, also is important. Both are here. Okay. Now, incident investigation process to ensure that all incidents, including near misses, are investigated. I told you already the pyramid where the probability of injury for 3,000 unsafe acts, 300 near misses are happening. So if you don't, if you ignore the near misses, then incident is going to happen, some fatality is going to happen. That's why all incidents, including near misses, are to be investigated. Okay. Then corrective action are determined that identify the root cause. Do not stop with the surface cause, only work element. You go to the root cause and address that. Okay. Corrective actions are tracked until they are completed. Once you have identified the corrective action, we have to implement it and then see the effectiveness of it till the conclusion. Okay. Trends are reviewed, gaps are identified, and improvement plans are developed to prevent future occurrences. So now, after implementing, you have to see the trends. How is it safety performance improving in that area? After giving the training, what is the kind of improvement we are seeing? So all those gaps, whatever we see, has to be identified. A new person joining, new contractor appointed, they may not be knowing these things. So these are all the gaps coming into the system. So we have to address them, and improvements have to be done for preventing future occurrences. Okay, this is about the investigation process. Now we look at the process, how we are going to do it. Evidence of consultation participation. This is very important. Already mentioned, worker participation is important, including the injured employee. There are a lot of other people involved. We should involve them because they only will give the right suggestion. How can we prevent these things? Because they are day in, day out working in that area. That is also as per the requirement of clause 5.4. Again, employees who are working at the time report all work related incidents in a timely manner. Employees' responsibilities, whenever you see any work related incidents, report them in a timely manner, not after 1 week, 15 days. Before that, many incidents would have happened. That's why we can avoid those unpleasant situations by reporting in a timely manner. Again, participate in the investigation process as needed. We have to involve them, and they also should be participating in it willingly and giving their suggestion, because it is their improvement they are going to see, the safety improvement in their work area. So it is in their interest, they have to participate. Then supervisor, manager, management, what they need to do? They need to do these things. What are they? In the incident was very recent, secure the scene of the incident to ensure the safety of any emergency responders and other employees, and to preserve any evidence that may contribute to the investigation. So supervisor, manager, whoever is involved, they need to be very careful. If the incident is recent, then secure the scene so that all the evidences are intact. So it will help in our investigation and we can arrive at a proper conclusion. That's why you see, whenever there is an accident happening, they cordon off the area so that all the evidences are preserved while the forensic team comes and then does the investigation. Same way, we have to secure our area because it's our factory. We can do that and then cordon off that area. Okay. Ensure the injured person is properly cared for. Before looking at why it happened and all, first and foremost, to save one life or some discomfort to an employee or worker. That's why ensure injured person is properly cared for by giving first aid and all, and then look at the equipment damage and other things later. Ensure management or other company personnel who require are notified. Like, if it is happening in off-duty hours, night shift and all, immediately you must inform the safety manager or area in charge, head of the department, because they need to be aware. They cannot be told, they are sleeping, we'll tell them in the morning, because it's something related with their career. They need to be informed. Okay. Ensure the investigation begins as soon as possible after the incident occurs. The moment the employee is stabilized, we should conduct the investigation. If you delay it, then memory is fading, human memory. So we may not recall so many things, which is very crucial for the investigation. As soon as possible means we should stabilize the employee. When he is suffering to, breathe, you can't ask him questions about what happened and all. So you must, that's the first party. So you should be involved. So we should stabilize him first. Once he is comfortable, then only we should do the investigation. Identify the potential source of information, such as innocent witnesses and any physical evidence, like, particular tool which is a broken tool because of which this happened. So we need to keep that as evidence. And then who are all surrounding that employee who is injured, working at the time, they are all the witnesses. So we need to discuss with them, we need to interview them and get the points. Gather the facts about the incident by asking the normal questions, not a probing or investigative questions. Okay, though the name says investigation, we should not be carrying out in a very inquisitive manner, in a friendly manner, so we get the facts right. Okay, ensure the investigation identifies the root cause. That's the main purpose. We do all this to look at the root cause. Otherwise, simply looking at the surface cause is very easy. Work element, anybody can do it. But root cause analysis is not easy. So we need all the investigation efforts for that. Implement recommendations to control or eliminate the hazard. Best is to eliminate the hazard. Otherwise, control it by putting some control measures. Okay, these are the things we have to do from the supervisor management side. Now the steps we are going one by one. First, gathering evidence. We already saw what all we do. First, interviewing involved employees, whoever is, including the injured employee and the witnesses who are all supervisor around that area, they need to be interviewed. While interviewing, main thing to look at is put the interviewee, the individual at ease. That means he should be willing to divulge the information. If you are very coercive way you investigate, then he is not going to talk about it. Then it is avoid finger pointing and applying blame. The question itself, why you made it like this, if you put the why, he is going to shut off. That's why we should never use the why during the investigation process, which is very, offending kind of question word. We should not use it. How it happened? Can you explain to me everything? Like leading questions, not a why question, which is going to be pointing blame at the injured person. So you may not like it. So that is why we will be using it. Be aware of the emotions. When he is recreating or rehearsing the event, he may recall those traumatic moments. So he may have a lot of emotions. We need to address that. We should not be careless to the emotions which the person is expressing. Somebody must have been injured, it comes to his memory, so you should be giving that kind of care during the investigation so that we get the right thing. Stress fact gathering. That means we should stress on the fact gathering. We are not looking at blame here. Let involved employees tell their story completely. You listen to them. You don't go on asking questions. You allow them to talk, so that when they finish the talking, you can ask the next question. That is what is a normal kind of investigation done. Conduct the interviews at the scene. Wherever it is happened, you need to do that on the spot, not sitting in your office comfort and then calling them. They are going to be, kind of intimidated. That's why you go to the spot where the incident or accident happened, then you do the investigation possible. Okay, ask any necessary questions, determine what happened, what was done, and how it was done. This is how the question should be, not why. You see, that's what I mentioned already. They become defensive. They will not be opening up. Close the interview with a positive note. At the end of it, you don't say we will find a solution for it. We should not put things like you are going to be taken to task and this is because of you. All that. In a positive note, we end this so that we are looking at future prevention of these incidents. Thank the person who interviewed. That is very nice gesture. So he feels he was listened to and he is also part of this whole investigation. Then next step is use the right tools during the investigation process. Here we need to keep all the things noted, because when you go back and think of all the things, half of them would have been forgotten. So then and there, jot it down. It's like an audit. When you do audit, you also note down all the evidence, all the records, everything reference then and there, so that when you go and prepare the report, this will be handy. Same way, we have to keep those things. Record time, places, name, licenses, comments, and actions. So what type of condition was it? A shift end? Then you can also attribute to, because people are rushing to close the jobs and all. Was it a shift beginning? So all these things have to be noted carefully. Weekend, all these things are important. That's why places, names, distances, timing, and conditions, in what way, lighting condition, whether it was adequate, maybe because of illumination also this thing would have happened. So all that observant, and then you have to record these things. Take pictures if possible, because the picture says 1,000 words. That's why keep the picture so we can magnify and see certain finer points later. So this is a proper investigation. This is how it is done. Draw a sketch or diagram. Use the diagram to indicate where key objects people were during the incident, so that you see the accident spot, they put a chalk mark and they put the person's silhouette completely, and then they show it exactly. So when the person investigation comes, he can see what angle this would have happened, all those things. So the sketch is going to be helpful in the investigation properly. Now, investigation incident, the root cause, this is very, very important. Here, what are we doing? Work element is easy to identify. Like I said, oil spill on the floor, easy to identify. Banana peel on the floor, easy to identify. So that is it. Flying chip, a spill on the floor, or a broken tool, a lifting load that was too heavy. All these things are very obvious. So that work element also we have to identify. That also one of the action we have to take. But then the focus should be the system failure. Root cause is difficult to identify. That's where we have to focus a lot. To make it easier to determine, root causes in general can be placed into 6 categories. So normally when you do root cause, you do this what do you call this Ishikawa diagram, or cause and effect diagram, also called fishbone diagram. Here we are saying the causes and then the effect. Effect is the incident, what happened. But the causes are, it can be due to human beings, or materials used, wrong materials, or management system, means the overall system of training, awareness to the employees, and the overall culture in the organization. That's all coming under the management system. Machine, a particular machine is not designed for safety. And methods, what are all methods being used which is improper or inadequate. Then environment, like lighting, temperature, and physically demanding environment. So people may lose focus and concentration. That can also lead to incidents. So like that, you put all of them and then start brainstorming what all can come under this. What is actually present during the incident. You put down those things in that. So this is how we develop this cause and effect diagram, which is going to address the root cause. Okay, so that's what very important. Now the root cause, I have got these 6 elements we saw in the previous cause and effect diagram. I have put it in table format. Some pointers we are giving. It is not the only thing possible. You can look at in these lines and then assess the investigation accordingly. So under materials, what can be there? Defective raw materials, because of which some incident would happen. Wrong type of material for job. He has taken a wrong material, that also because not identified properly, whatever it is. Not enough raw material. He was working with this small quantity of raw material. That also could have been a reason. So we are just identifying possible pointers. Same way under machine equipment, incorrect selection of tool or equipment. For example, he has used a tool which is not supposed to be the right tool for that. Sometimes we don't find the tool. We just chalta hai karke, we take some other tool which is available and then try to do something and then pierce injury on the other palm of our hand. So this many, even domestic cases we have seen many times. We don't use the right tool, we end up injuring ourselves. Poor equipment maintenance or design. So equipment design also, it is not conducive. The machine guards are not proper established. So people economically, it is not comfortable for the people to work. Or the tool also, how it is placed, it is not tightened properly. It can come loose under high RPMs. It can also cause injury. So that is also one of the things. Then defective equipment or tool, like broken tools, hand tools, we should not be keeping it in the work area. That also can result in injuries, like hammers not having the proper handles, and the layers not having the proper nose, all those things. Okay, then conditions. Orderly workplace. If 5 years, a lot of accidents. You're going to stumble and fall. It is there. Job design, layout. How the work layout is there. Even surface should be there. Small uneven surface can lead to trip and fall injuries also. Physical demands of the task, like heavy things they are doing and the environment is not conducive, is sweating. So that is also going to add to the problem. Other conditions like too much noise in the area, focus is gone and lighting is less, lumen output is not there, is going to be a problem for the employees. Okay, then from the people side, what can be there? no or poor management involvement, because management is not at all concerned about safety, so everything is going to be diluted in the organization. Lack of concentration to task, like focus is not there, he is thinking so many things, talking and listening something, so he is going to definitely have less focus on the job, he is going to get injured. Task hazards not guarded properly, so these hazards, whatever hazards are there, they are not guarded properly, that also will be leading to incident, because somebody is going to get exposed to the hazard. Stress, psychological factors, so anything which is family tensions or work pressure too much also can lead to psychological factors, lead to accidents. Other horseplay, like many other things, people running around here and there helter skelter in the work area is going to be distracting and can result in accident. These are all coming from human beings. Then methods, what type of methods you are doing, inadequate procedures, like proper SOPs are not there, so there is only sketchy information, so people can end up getting injured because there is no standard operating procedure, how to fix a tool, how to operate things. Practices do not match with the written procedures. Whatever ISO says, document what is being done, do what is documented. If you are not following, you are going to get injuries like that, because you are not following the standard procedure. Poor communication, like communication between shift to shift, you are not given a proper communication because there is no logbook, so the other person coming in did not know what was going on before, he ended up injuring himself because the process communication has not happened. See, these are all methods. Then lastly, the management system, very important, that is lack of training, education, like the culture has to be developed in the organization, safety culture, buddy involvement, like if somebody is doing mistake, we must tell him not to do that, we should not go with the mistake. That is what we are saying, training, motivation and awareness to everyone. And then poor employee involvement, employees has to take safety as a selfish, because they have to be selfish on safety. If they do not protect themselves, they cannot protect anybody. That's why poor employee involvement also will lead to this kind of incidents. Mera kya jata hai, that kind of attitude is not allowed. Poor recognition of hazard, people should know how to look for hazards. If they feel this is okay, then they are going to get more injuries, so they have to look for hazards. Hazard will not show it to them, we have to look for hazards and identify them and mitigate them. Previous hazards not eliminated, already some identified hazards, we have not taken the corrective action, then it can become a accident. Incident becomes accident later. That's why they say for every 10 incident, one accident is waiting to happen. So we need to understand all these root causes. Now coming to the documenting the, we have done all of them. Now when the incident happened, date and time, that is one important document. Who or what was affected or hurt by the incident, the employee, what is the nature of injury, that is also to be documented. Location of the incident to be recorded. What object, if any, caused the particular, the evidence we collected, that also has to be documented, photograph or whatever it is. What work element was deficient and most directly caused the incident, that is the work element, easy to identify, that also has to be documented. Then the system failure, by doing this previous slide, we did this root cause, we have identified the root cause from that cause and effect diagram, that also has to be addressed, both work element and root cause. Okay, now follow up and analyze. Now that we have identified what is to be done, that is what we are going to do now. Once the documentation phase is complete, corrective action should be implemented. Now we are going to implement the corrective action. What is to be done to eliminate the root cause? And employees in the work area should be notified of changes, training. This is what I said, management of change. You have made a change towards improvement, but that doesn't become improvement automatically. We have to communicate the same to the employees, the shift people, all the 3 shifts, so that it is properly understood by everyone, so they all will follow the same procedure. Otherwise, it's going to be another incident waiting to happen. Verify the effectiveness of corrective action. Once it is implemented, there somebody should independently verify the effectiveness. That is very important. Otherwise, we may think the problem is gone. Suddenly, it may come with a bang, and some other injury will happen. That's why effectiveness of this very important. Verification. Frequently, the answer to individual incidents is as simple as wearing, using PPEs, guards, proper lifting procedures. Most of the time, it will boil down to people are not wearing PPEs. They have been given by the management, so management cannot be faulted. Maybe supervisor not effectively looking at it. So ultimately, it is coming to people are not wearing the PPEs. We need to understand why and remove those obstacles. And the proper lifting procedures are not there, then only things are happening. So if you address these things as a common, you can avoid a lot of incidents and accidents in the industry. Blanket training programs may address several needs at one time. like, focused on MSDS, chemical handling training to everyone, so everybody knows how to look for chemical. So chemical related hazards can be incidents can be avoided. Same way, how to have finger safety. Like most of the injuries happen with fingers in factories. So you have to have a finger safety awareness program. So how to take care of that, what should be done. So like that, if you give a blanket training to all the employees, it is going to significantly improve the safety performance. That's what we call blanket training. Okay. Now, when we do this hierarchy of control, we already saw in under 8.1.2 how to implement controls to reduce these incidents. While implementing corrective action, consider the hierarchy of control, order of implementation. If you look at, first, we should eliminate the hazard. Our effort should be to eliminate. Suppose there is a machine which is giving a lot of noise. Maybe it is outdated machine, old machine. You throw it off and then get a new machine. So we are eliminating the noise completely. Okay. Or substitution. Maybe you can't afford to throw the machine. We are not having that luxury. So what we have to do is the exact part which is giving that noise. Look at it, maybe a bearing is worn out, or some greasing or something is required. So you remove it and put another one. It's a substitution. So we are using the same machine, but we have substituted the problem part with the new part, and then some greasing and PM is done. So that is a better control to reduce the noise. Engineering control, the noise is still coming out from the equipment. We can't do anything about it. So at least put a enclosure, noise enclosure, acoustic enclosure, so that the noise does not come from the source and affect the human beings. This is a kind of additional control. But the order is first elimination, substitution, then look at engineering control. Then administrative control, like you put a board there saying that it's a noisy, do not enter without the required PPE, or restrict your entry to certain duration. So we are giving some kind of directions to the people. So that is called administrative control. Then finally, we should think of PPE equipment, like giving him the earplugs so that he is able to work there comfortably. But the focus should be always elimination. Whenever you heard a noise, immediately we should not give the earplugs to the employee. That's the last resort. First, look at addressing the problem. Then only you look at the hierarchy wise. What last one should be the personal protective equipment. So the effectiveness also, you can see how it is done. So this is how we are doing the incident investigation. So our webinar is ending. Now I am open for questions. Whatever has come in chat box, we can discuss.
I have a few questions, sir.
Yes.
Just a moment, sir. Sir, can PPE be used as a corrective action for an incident?
PPE is, as I said, the hierarchy controls. That's the last resort we should be using. But till we find out the root cause, this can be a safe alternative, because we don't want to have a stopgap arrangement. We don't want to the problem to prolong a lot. So we, as a contingency measure, we can implement the personal protective equipment, but while we look at the root cause of the problem. So it can be a temporary measure, but then we can decide based on our hierarchy of controls, nothing else could be done. Then we can regularize the PPE, but that is not the one and end of all.
Okay, sir. Actually, I got the questions from the participants itself. So maybe
Yes.
there is some issue with their laptops. So
Yeah,
I'll be
okay.
asking them one by one.
Yeah.
The second question I have got
Yeah.
is how to report lost time injuries.
You see, there is a RLTA, they call it in the industry, reportable lost time injury. That means a person is injured, he is not able to report for duty, then it is considered as a serious injury, because people are not coming back to work. So that's why it's called RLTA, and that has to be reported to the labor department, and also some places, inspectorate of factories also we have to report. There are some forms available. Safety departments will have it, and they have to file it, and then the name of the employee, what is the nature of injury, what was the first aid given, and when he's off, when he's likely to come back. Like that, there is some initial information should be given to the labor department and inspectorate of factories.
Thank you so much, sir. And
Yes.
one more question is how to improve safety performance of an organization.
Yeah, the safety performance organization can be improved by looking at the participation of employees, because the employees are very key for the implementation of safety. So they have to be involved. That's why in ISO 45001, there is a separate clause called consultation and participation. So there, employees have to be participating in these deliberations. Mechanisms have to be developed, having a safety committee meetings and conducting this incident investigation with the employees involved and other people, interested parties. So these are the ways we are involving employees and also educating them, so that when somebody is participating in the discussions and giving suggestions, he will be setting example for that, so that he will be practicing before preaching others. So that becomes, he is empowered to take these decisions, and because he is giving the decision to the organization, he has to follow that. So that's why employee participation consultation is going to improve the safety performance in the organization. Simply safety department cannot improve the safety. Everybody's responsibility.
Thank you so much, sir. I got these 3 questions from the participants, and I guess there are no more questions because no one has sent any more questions apart from these.
Good.
So we can now conclude this particular session. So I'll start by thanking Sitaraman sir for giving his valuable time and effort again today for making this webinar so wonderful one. The topic was really broad, and the way you have put in your wisdom and expertise in explaining each and every aspect of the topic was really great. I hope I myself have got benefited from the understanding you have shared about the topic, and I hope all the participants has been benefited as well. So I again thank you so much for taking out time out of your busy schedule again for joining us in this webinar. I thank all the participants as well for being an active partner in this particular webinar, and I thank you for all the questions you have put forward. I hope they were answered by Sitaraman sir in the way it was expected. I hope to see you all again soon for an exciting new session. I wish all of you a best of luck for all of your future endeavors on behalf of TNV Academy. Hope to see you soon all again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks again to TNV Academy, and stay safe, all of you. Now you know how safe you need to be. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.